The Holocaust, A New History by Laurence Rees. Read by Jonathan Keeble. Prologue. To the Nazis, Frieda Weinmann's crime was simple. She was Jewish. In May 1944, at the age of 20, she was arrested in Saint-Étienne in France by collaborators belonging to the paramilitary milice. Together with her parents and her 3 brothers, she was taken first to the notorious holding camp at Drancy in the suburbs of Paris, and thence to Auschwitz-Birkenau in Nazi-occupied Poland. In early June 1944, the train carrying Frieda, her family, and nearly 1,000 other Jews from France passed under the red brick guardhouse of Birkenau and down a railway line directly into the camp. As the doors of the freight wagon opened and they emerged into the light, Frieda thought she had arrived in hell. The smell was awful. But Frieda was still unaware of the true purpose of Birkenau. The place was huge and teeming with prisoners. Perhaps the new arrivals would all be put to work. As she and her family stood on the area by the side of the railway track known as the ramp, events took an unexpected turn. Prisoners from a special unit called the Sonderkommando, dressed in pyjama-like uniforms, shouted out to the new arrivals, "Give the children to the older women." As a consequence, Frieda's mother was handed a baby by a young mother in her 20s. The Jews were told to form 2 lines on the ramp, men in one and women in another. Bewildered by what was happening, Frieda joined the line for women together with her mother, who was still holding the baby. When her mother reached the end of the queue, an SS doctor, Frieda believes it was Dr. Mengele, told her to go with the baby to the right. Frieda followed her mother. But then she recalls, "Mengele called me back, and he said, 'You go to the left.' And I said, 'No, I won't. I won't be separated from my mother.' And he said in a most natural way, 'Your mother, she will be looking after the children, and you will go with the young ones, that is, the younger adults.' Frieda couldn't understand why we were separated. I couldn't understand why they had to give the babies to older women. My mother was only 46 years old. I couldn't understand what was happening. It was too quick. It was all happening so fast." As Frieda's mother walked away with the baby, her father and 3 brothers reached the end of their queue. All of them were told to stay together. But as they stood on the ramp, Frieda's eldest brother, David, saw their mother moving off in another direction, and thought that their youngest sibling, 13-year-old Marcel, should go with her. He reasoned that it might be easier for Marcel if his mother was able to look after him. So David told Marcel to accompany her, and Marcel, listening to the words of his elder brother, ran off to join his mother. Unwittingly, David had helped send Marcel to his death. They did not know it at the time, but they had just participated in a selection process, in which SS doctors, in a matter of seconds, decided which person should be allowed to live temporarily and which person should die at once. The great majority of people on this transport were selected to be murdered immediately in the gas chambers of Birkenau, including Frieda's mother, along with the baby that had been placed in her arms. The Nazis did not want children, the old, or the sick to last more than a few hours in the camp. Frieda, her father, and her 3 brothers had been selected to work. Though the Nazis intended all Jews to die eventually, this was at least a postponement of execution. So, by sending Marcel towards their mother, David had ensured that he joined the group that had been chosen to die at once. Marcel, as a 13-year-old, was borderline for selection, and so the SS must not have cared if he went with his mother to be murdered. As Frieda says, David's actions would have been the right thing to do in different circumstances. But amid the inhumanity of Auschwitz, it was the wrong decision. On the ramp, the Sonderkommando had told the young mothers to hand over their babies because the only chance they had of surviving the initial selection was to appear in front of the SS doctor without their children. Even if a mother was young and fit, the SS would rarely try and separate her from her child during the final selection process, for fear of causing panic among the new arrivals. Members of the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?